Now, tomorrow, Monday, the 12th of June 2023, will mark the 24th year since businessman and politician Abiola died while in the custody of the Nigerian military government. His death came 4 years after he was arrested for declaring himself president in the wake of the annulment of the 2003 presidential election. With most Nigerians in recent presidential transition, albeit within the same political party, this year's commemoration of Abiola's death will most likely breathe life into most of the life striving, including a nation where tribe and religion play a little part in who emerges president of Nigeria. Olalekan's Smart Award is the leader of the Natives, a pro-democracy organization, and she joins us now to discuss June 12. Support for President Tinubu and a Christian to be elected President of the Senate. I want to say, welcome to Arise News Now. Now let's talk about June 12. Do you think this year will take a different dimension? Understanding that some would say that finally Abiola's dream of having a Southwesterner become president has actually come true. Some have said that June 12 should still remain sacred. Talk to us about June 12 and the legacy of Abiola.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. June 12 reflects our national life. June 12 is that very day that all tribes and tongues stood together and voted a Nigerian which they believed had the capacity and the right message to Nigerians. And all Nigerians did align with it, as many, and there he won the election. And the election was truncated by the military. And you see that happening at the twilight of 2023 elections. Another election was won popularly by President Tinubu, and then you have all forces, all sorts of cry wolf in this country, disenfranchisement and all sorts of information were put in the media, in the world, about that election. The most important thing that happened on June 12th happened also in February 2023. A man who was very prepared for leadership in this country, who had been part of the system, Abiola, won the election and did not have that opportunity. Now, a good follower, who is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who had followed Awolowo, followed Abiola, now 30 years later, comes to the table as president. I think the message of June 12 is already clear. It is hope for a prepared man to lead us and to get us to our destination in the Committee of Nations.
All right. Some will not share your sentiments. Some will say, some have probably a warped or distorted view about June 12. But for those that still believe that we should always celebrate that as a true democracy day, while some have said, certainly not. Give us your own perspective. Do you think that holistically, because you've said some things about winning a popular vote, some would disregard that, and even the numbers would actually probably fall to that particular statement. But talk to us about Nigeria now. Let me take it from this perspective. Do you think 24 years down the line, we are more united, or some would say that we are more fragmented along religious, political, and ethnic lines?
Yeah, it is clear to all Nigerians, like every other country, if we do not manage our diversity very well, it will lead us into an explosion. There has been different groups in the country fighting in the northeast, in the southeast, in the northwest, all manners of issues we had in the years back. We had kidnapping, we had banditry, we had Boko Haram. All these things happened because the security of our country was very, very, very important. The unity of our country, very important. The economy of our country, very important. And also leadership in our country were very, very crucial issues. These issues we never took seriously. So sometimes we received what we wanted as a country. We presented candidates who came from political parties and wanted to assume power and lead our country. But for the first time, and very evident in the past 10 days, someone who has been preparing for 30 years to say that Nigeria must be a great country in the Committee of Nations. He has said democracy. He's been a player in the democratic struggle himself. He has been a player in anti-military struggle. He has been a player also in the political circle. In fact, I told a friend some few days ago, I said, there was no president in this country that did not go to Bola Tinubu looking for 25% of his region. He was prepared for national leadership, and the pathway to it was always democracy. So the only thing we have in this country that we are enjoying is the democracy that was handed over to us in 1999. The next thing after that is governance. So we must celebrate democracy. That's the beginning of our unification. But if you want to talk about how divided we are as a country, there are many countries that are divided. You look at America, you look at UK, you can see issues of racism, you can see issues of gun violence in different countries. But here in Nigeria, there are 371 tribes who all want the same thing. Hope in their country, a better nation, a secure nation. Call us giants of Africa. We want to be giants indeed. We want to see our youths prospering in their nation. We want to see a secure nation. That's what all we're looking for as a people is the same. And that's why Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the last 10 days has started to give us leadership delivery. First, he goes for the subsidy. I tell you, that decision tells me the right kind of president we have. He signs in electricity bill. That's the kind of leadership we're looking at. He picks a young man as his PPS, picks a parliamentary person as his chief of staff, picks an experienced PAMSEC as SGF, and then goes to the security and gets into the counterterrorism room and said, we have to work together. No hoarding of information. Every life matters. And until we get one president who looks at life of every Nigerian very, very seriously, then the economic prosperity of the country, the job creation, all that we're looking for in this country, we can begin to find it. Because we have a lot of people in the diaspora. And some of them ran away from the country in June 12 or pre-June 12. The Nadeco days. And you see, most of them, Bola Tinubu is part of them. So he came back to this country and helped build up until 30 years. By tomorrow, he will be addressing the nation as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on June 12, our Unity Day. Our democracy in Nigeria actually is our Unity Day.
All right, Lekan, now let's talk about the fact that you and your pro-group have actually kicked against Senator-elect Yari from becoming Senate President, and you vehemently rejected Senator Yari as the President. But we want to ask a question, although you are not entitled to cast a vote in determining who becomes the leader of the 10th National Assembly in the Senate, but talk to us, why have you and your group kicked against Senator Yari?
Okay, thank you. Very well. The things that we get wrong in this country is that we actually don't recognize that we as citizens are the power holders and the gatekeepers in this country. We only gave in different portions, our powers to individuals to go represent us and speak on policies or develop policies and programs that will eventually guide our living via their legislative framework and leadership. These legislators are not our masters. The voters will always be the employer. So here is the thing. We have a president who is a Muslim, and we have a vice president who is a Muslim. In a secular state, there must be understanding. We must unite ourselves. We must see reasons with others. Asiwaju wanted to contest during the days of President Buhari, and there was no room for him. A pastor went in for him. Today, he is president, and Kashim is vice president. What we are saying is a Yoruba man, Muslim, has become president. A Kanuri man has become vice president. We say no, complete no, absolute no. Yari can never, it will not, it should not be permitted. And every person of conscience in this country should appeal to him. The president has taken the right step. Reach out to him, reach out to his sponsors, talk to his royal fathers. We must unify our country. Post-elections, we must govern. We cannot explode our country again. So going to go and elect the next Senate president means we must zone it to credibility, we must zone it to capacity, we must zone it to credentials.
All right, I want to say,
and the president has found a teammate.
It's unfortunate we're actually out of time.
Has found a teammate.
But I want to say thank you very much for your time here on Arise News Now, talking about Olalekan Edwards, who is a pro-democracy activist.